This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It's so great to be here helping you with playing the guitar. In this video, I'm going to go over the B7 chord. So that's a new chord for us. Of course, we'll be reviewing other chords like the E chord and the A chord. And we'll be using a familiar strumming pattern, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, as we play the different exercises and songs that we're going to jam together on in this lesson. This video does accompany Lesson 7 from my Chords and Harmony Books 1 and 2 method book. If you have that book, you're going to want to turn to page 40. We're going to be on pages 40, 41, and 43 as we jam together and go through the different materials of this video. Okay, so let's dive in here with the B7 chord. For some of my in-person students, this has been sort of an intimidating chord, and it sort of looks intimidating. We got all four fingers at play, and it seems like we've got them in places that are a little less familiar, but it's actually not so bad. Let's take a look at it. Our index finger goes on the first fret of the 4th string. Then our middle finger goes on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Our ring finger goes on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And our pinky goes on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. We play the 2nd string open, and we don't play the low 6th string, so we're just strumming those top 5 strings. So you can get used to sort of doing that. Now, finding all of that may have seemed a little complicated, trying to just juggle your fingers and where to put them. But there's something that can make it a little bit easier. If you take a look at these 3 notes that are on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th strings, you'll notice that that shape, that fingering, is the same as what we use to play D7, only our fingers are on the top 3 strings in that case. When we play D7, which is a chord that we've been playing a lot at this point in the lesson series, we're familiar with this chord. All we've got to do is move that shape down to these lower strings. So it's that same fingering shape, and that should make playing this chord easier. Then all you got to do is add that pinky to the top string. And that pinky's sort of already hanging out in the general vicinity of putting it at that 2nd fret on the 2nd string, so it's not so bad. So you throw down that D7 shape only on these lower strings, that makes it B7 instead, and then we throw that pinky on top and we have the B7 chord. As easy as that. Once you've got that figured out, it's a good idea to start practicing it a little bit with the E and the A chord. E, A, and B7 are frequently played together in the key of E major. And as we work through the different songs in Lesson 7, we're going to be using these chords a lot. So, take a look at switching between the E and the B7. You kind of want to get used to that. E should be a familiar chord. I do have it here on the board if you need it. But you'll notice that your middle finger stays in the same place for both of these, and then index just has to come one string lower. So you might just find that D7 shape, then add that pinky. Just switch back and forth between E and then that sort of D7 fingering that we're used to, which is now B7 on these low strings, and grab that pinky. So just go back and forth between E and B7, keeping that middle finger down. That holds your place as you go back and forth between E and B7. So you can do that as much as you need to. It's also a good idea to practice between A and B7. Now with A, if you're fingering it the way that I've taught here in the lesson series, where you go index, middle, and ring, so index is in between the middle and ring fingers, it's the same sort of setup to play this chord here, the D7 and the B7, that shape. All you have to do is bring your index finger over 1 fret. So between the A and the B7, we're just coming down and moving our index finger over. It's sort of like, you could also think of it like the A7 shape. Pull that index finger over, bring those fingers lower, add that index, and add that pinky. But I just kind of one motion go from the A to that D7 shape, as I mentioned, that's now our B7 on these lower strings. So you just go back and forth between those two, and then start practicing adding in that finger, that pinky finger on the top string. So you got the A to the B7, and you just go back and forth between A and B7, getting comfortable with that one. So you can do that as much as you need to. Once you've kind of gotten comfortable there, and you're probably already familiar if you've been going through the lessons, how to go from E to A. So I'm just going to leave that there, but if you need to practice E to A, you can do that as well. But we're going to sort of warm up here with a little exercise using our strumming pattern. So we've got that down, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up. We'll go ahead and plug that in with the chords. We'll go E for 1 measure, so 1 time on the string pattern, to A, to B7, back to E. And I'll do it a couple times. So you have 1, 2, ready, and we've got the E. much as you need to sort of get warmed up there. I'm also going to do the swung version, meaning swinging those eighth notes version of the string pattern. We got the down, down, up, down, up, down, up, 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up. So adding in a little bit of the delay to the up strum. We'd have 1, 2, ready, and E. That as much as you need to. It's also good to do it at various tempos. So that's kind of a nice slow tempo as we get going, but it'd be good to work it at a faster tempo. So we could have back to the even eighth notes. We'd have 1, 2, ready, and. Let's do it with the swung eighth note. So 1, 2, ready, and. Just like that. And as a reminder, with all these strumming patterns, we want to think about switching chords when we get to the end of the strumming pattern, not when it's time to start the new chord at the top of the strumming pattern. So with this one, you're going to either switch right after you play that up strum, or even as you're playing that up strum if you need to. So it'd be like 1, 2, up 3, up 4, up switch, so that you're ready for the next chord. And it can be okay if you need to have some of the open strings ringing there, as I've demonstrated before. So 1, 2, up 3, up 4, up, and I'm switching as I'm playing that last up strum. Just switching as I'm playing it, and that might get me some open strings that aren't actually part of one of the chords or both of the chords, and that's okay. It just kind of works. It sort of hides in there, but that's how you get faster and faster at making those switches if you're going to work on that as a technique. Okay, it's time for us to jam together on some of these songs. So we're going to start with number 7 on page 43. Then we're going to come back to page 41 and do numbers 2 and 3. Each one of these is going to happen first at a slower tempo, and then it will happen at a faster tempo, so you can work it at both tempos. And as I've mentioned in probably most of these videos, it's okay to just mute those strings and work on the strumming if you need to. Or not worry about the strumming hand at all and just work on the chord changes if that's what you need to work on getting. Or just work on the singing if that's what you need to do. And then you can put a couple of those elements together, and finally all 3. So you can take advantage of jamming along with me. So you can practice each one of those elements in isolation, and you can do it right along with me, all the different parts. So it's going to be super fun. You, me, and the band. Let's go ahead and jam together.
South for to see myself singing Molly Molly Doodle all the day. Oh, myself, she is a spunky gal singing Molly Molly Doodle all the day.
Okay, fantastic. I hope this is fun for you and really, really helpful. In the next video, we're going to work 3/4 time. So we're going to work a strumming pattern for 3/4 time with these same chords and be reviewing some other chords. So it's going to be great. I'll see you then.
Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to check out more great content. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.